today's flight. I'm going to recommend 2,500 feet. We got a packed house.
おはようございます。新規ワークパイロットです。今日もマイクロソフトフライトシミュレーターの公式集会に参加しています。ライブウェザー、時間はいじっています。現地は夜です。お、そろそろ離陸していくみたいですね。じゃあ流れに乗っていきますか。今日はちょっと巡航速度が速いので、IKF15 で、すげえな、風があんな塗装あるんだ。はい、フルパワー、3、4、5、8、9、11、12。はい、ローテート、ギャップ、フラップアップ。200ノットちょっとあっという間に超えてしまうので、フラッパー出しっぱなしいいですね、今日は。天気あんまり良くないですね。周波数の変更、ラジャー。
I think the server is frozen again.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Not sure what's been going on with that the last couple weeks.
Yeah, it's been a stable stream of errors.
Ooh, Peter, get your button ready here. Factual has the dad joke of all dad jokes. We're the first now defunct airlines, ABC, DEF, GHI, and J. And those all failed, and then of course the next one which was successful was KLM. Oh, factual. Thank you, Peter.
Looks like my stream is running again.
Yeah, on my end, you're both coming through fine. See. Yeah, looks like Peter's is working. And sort of Papa. Yeah, looks like you're both working again too. I didn't touch anything. It just maybe had a momentary blip. Now it's back.
あんまり天気が良くないですな。ちょっとこれじゃあれなんで、天気をちょっとプリセットに変更します。何にも見えません。
Alright, so Peter, why don't we talk a little bit, since Factual brought it up, the KLM Delft Blue. For those of you who don't know, every year on October 7th,
オランダです。
tomorrow, KLM's anniversary of their founding, the airline issues a new souvenir piece
オランダっていうと風車っていうイメージぐらいしかないですけどね。
Yeah, I think it's porcelain.
Porcelain, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's based on a real famous building somewhere in the Netherlands. So these are not fake buildings, these are all authentic, real buildings.
Mostly in Amsterdam.
Yeah. And they're made available to business class travelers on board overseas KLM flights, so not domestic ones. But if you ever fly overseas on KLM in business class, like Richie Rich Peter over here, I did not get one of these when I flew KLM because I'm just a plebeian economy class passenger. But Peter got one. So if you fly business class overseas on KLM, you receive one of these porcelain houses filled with Dutch gin. And they're considered souvenirs and collector's items. So, Peter, let's see the ones that you have.
I have two. Okay. This one. And you see here, the chimney is actually the pouring thingy.
Oh, Thunderbirds.
And it's sealed with some rubbery substance. I haven't opened it. Oh, and I have another one, which is this one. So I only flew 2 times business class, but there are people almost the whole collection.
Also
And there's
United States Air Force Thunderbirds
big, big
アメリカ
trade
空軍
going
の、
on. People
アクロバット
getting
チーム
double
の、
trying to swap
飛行機ですね。
All right. Can someone who knows more about the Vision Jet than I do, can you explain why
今日もよろしくお願いし
I'm on
ま
the verge
す。
of stalling with full throttle with the autopilot on?
Dark
This
Star
should be, I should be
ところ
going like at 300
変
knots
態
right
長
now,
あり。
but instead I've got gear up, flaps are up, full throttle is in.
今日オランダを飛んでるのはなんか10月7日が
Why is my engine?
あれみたいですね。あれってなんじゃい、KLM オランダ航空の、創設日かなんか。
Did they model? Is there a new update that they modeled failures on the Vision Jet, and I wasn't aware of this?
赤い風雅が2機
Okay, looks like you get power control
なので
back now.
KLM の、
I've flown
Ah,
this plane several times before.
この人はあれですね、日本人のパイロットの方だと思います。
There was a
あ、違った
repair and refuel
違った
keybind.
人でした。KLM のリバリ今日多いんじゃないでしょう
Looks like
か
it's。fixed now. Control E as
速度
some of the
200
chassis
ノットなので
did
若
the
干
trick.
いつもより、
I'm not sure why that happened though.
スピードが速いです。ラファール
Maybe there was an update to the Vision Jet. I didn't read the release notes.
KLM を風雅が2機で護衛してます。
Okay, we've recovered.
Yeah, and I also have my 787 on autopilot steady and
おお、
level navigation.
KLM オランダ
Out
航
of throttle, so everything should.
この航空会社人気があるんじゃないですかね。日本でも見かけることがあり
Go
ます
see
ね、この
friends
リ
saying
バ
my
リーは。
TBM is shedding traffic all the time. Well, that's the risk you run into on Community Fly in Friday. We have so many aircraft flying in close proximity. By the way, for those of you who would like to join us, if you're not part of the flight yet, just take a look at my screen here. Look at all these aircraft in every direction as far as the eye can see. This is an open event available to all players, all platforms, all skill and experience levels. If you do want to fly along, type !fly in the chat, and that'll give you all the instructions you need on how to join. We are on the Southeast Asia server, if you're wondering.
And for the TBM, you can actually set the traffic system on standby if you go to the middle screens and you select the traffic system.
台風
from the
台
main
風
menu
がい
and
ま
set
す
it to standby, and it will shut up. But you have to do that every time you do a touch and go. I think our stream is frozen again, CD.
Yeah, so I've noticed this. It comes and goes. It'll work fine for like 3 minutes, and then it freezes for a minute or two, and then it comes back. I'm not changing anything on my end, so I don't know why it's doing that.
It's too bad because
I'm just reconnected.
this view is epic.
Oh, you're not frozen now, so there, it's come back. And yeah, that is a pretty epic view.
ヨーロッパなので台風も。この飛行機は、
Believe it or not, but my 3 kids look forward to this Friday community fly.
カナードが変な方向を向いているのがいつまでたっても治りません。残念でございますが。
Maybe we have some future pilots in Englewood's 3 kids. Alright, I'm gonna have to throttle back quite a bit now that I'm at cruise altitude. Remember, we're aiming for a cruise speed of around 200
C160 が
knots
2キロ
today.
あれこれなんかセールだって買ったか
There's a comment here. It's the 787 KLM.
Alright,
なんかちゃん
Peter,
と
this is
見
over
え
to
て
you
るみ
then.
たいです
Nixon
ね。
says,
なんか
talk to
こ
me
れ
about
セ
the
ールやっ
Netherlands. Well, as our
たので
resident
買
Dutch
っ
citizen
たかもしれ
on
ない
the
ですね。
panel, what can you tell us about the
C160。
Netherlands?
Yeah,
全
that's
然
always
覚
the
えが
problem,
ないけ
right?
ど。
You don't know that much where you're coming
ミラー
from.
が眩しくて
But
何も見えないですね。
we've done some stuff thanks to Wikipedia.
後ろから日が差しております。
So yeah, well, our first stop is the Parisian Islands. As I said, those stretch from Denmark actually until the Netherlands. I don't know where myself it was a few hours. And in the Netherlands we only have 5 years, and we get learn them on school. At school, at a very young age, we have to name them all, and repeat it completely effortlessly, which I of course forgot now. But those are actually one of the more nicer parts of the Netherlands. A lot of nature, a lot of green. Not that many people yet. The Waddenzee itself, so that's the sea in between the islands and the land. With low tide, that is mostly dry, so you can walk there, and various trips are organized over there.
Oh, あれがパパっていう人ですね。あの人も、
and there is a natural gas
あの人は
and oil
中
to be
大
found, so that's
教な
always
の
a
か
bit
な
tricky.
例によって
Want to
Dark Star.
We don't want to drill in the Waddenzee. And there's a constant, I wouldn't say war, but constant back and forth political thingies to either do that or not. So far, so good. They haven't started drilling yet, but there's always a chance that it could start.
Yeah, and of course, Shell, one of the largest multinational oil companies in the world, I'm sure everyone's familiar with that company, is based in the Netherlands. Royal Dutch Shell. We have Royal Dutch Airlines, KLM, and Royal Dutch Shell, known internationally as just Shell Oil, also based in the Netherlands.
I think their head office is now in the UK, but I'm not sure.
All right, 10 miles out from our first touch and go.
I think
Right.
I'll skip
this is interesting. I'm just looking at some tech issues here. On my screen, both Peter and Papa's streams are coming, like they're in the green. They should be appearing fine. Papa is unfrozen. Last I checked. Okay, yeah, Peter, you're unfrozen now as well.
Okay.
I don't know what's happening. It seems to just come and go.
Yeah, and it's not delayed either. So what I see on the stream is what I did 1 second ago or something. So because last time we had a like 5-minute delay or something, you know, with buffer flowing full. But that isn't the case this time.
Yes, Ghostly Friend, we are doing touch and goes. Many of them, in fact, on this flight plan today. And Nixon says Max Verstappen, who will most likely win his third F1 World Champion, is from the Netherlands. That is correct. Had an absolute dominant season.
His father was Jos Verstappen, which was also a Dutch F1 driver. But his results were mediocre, and he was mostly ridiculed here in the Netherlands. And then his son took over the world by storm, which is quite fun to see how history is taking revenge in some sort of way, so to say. So yeah, I'll skip this touch and go. It's called Ameland. It's one of the nice little small GPUs where you can get a really good
for 200 euros.
Yeah, a bit more for me because it's a long flight, but it's really nice.
プーガと、
and being on the islands itself is also
ダークスターと
an experience by itself.
護衛
You can
中
go
で
there
す。
by a little aircraft. It's even more special.
これなんでしょうね、エ
is
ア
this
バ
a
ス。
grass strip?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't have a runway in sight. I know it should be right around here somewhere.
It's on the north side of the island. And then a little grass strip of around 700, 800 meters, or half a mile if you want.
All
この
right,
空
I'm dropping my
港でタッ
gear.
チンゴか
All
な。
right, I think what Ocean 8 in the TBM is lining up for, that appears like it could be a grass strip.
Yeah.
空港滑走路が見えないけど。
All right, flaps landing. Turn my nameplates off just so I can see where I'm going. Kind of hard to navigate with all those nameplates visible.
みんな下がっていきますね。車輪出しとくか、一応。
All right.
お
This is either the runway,
これか。
and if it's not, it's still a very nicely plowed grass field, in which I can do a touch and go. It is the runway, okay. Oh, so thankfully I've got nameplates off because as you can see, there's someone on short final just came there with a really hard landing. Yeah, not bad. Now I gotta get airborne before I hit these trees. Whoa, whoa, whoa! That was... What happened? I did not pitch up that hard.
隊長がなんか騒いでる。
Oh, was there a ditch there? Wow, F's in the chat. I did not see a ditch on the runway. Alright, see if I can recover from this.
Yeah, Hexalet says we have 30 knots of wind. Yeah, it is a bit windy
なんか
today.
じゃあ隊長
I
が
was on the
失
beach
敗したっ
today
ぽい。
and there's a pretty nice breeze out.
Alright, I keep hitting more ditches, so I'm obviously not on the runway anymore. That was wild though. I went... Okay, I don't think this is happening. I'm gonna have to use slew mode to get airborne.
Oh.
F's in the chat. Alright, there we go.
ビーチ部クラフトモデル350ってやつですかね。レスターティーンの水平
Yeah, I think it's
垂直
quite
尾翼
weather and
の
I think the
攻
wind's
撃
coming from the south today. Let me have a look on windy.
Alright, Peter and Papa, I've lost both your streams now if you want to just restart.
No, you did not.
Well, they're not showing up as coming through on my end anymore.
Travel results.
Oh yeah, there's a 22 knot headwind on the surface of.
イエーイ
Just restarted myself. Just restarted myself.
Oh, yeah, I got you both coming through now. Let's just see. Yep, looks to be working.
じゃあ今日もよろしくお願いします。772がいますね。あれもちょっとどこの航空会社か見てきますか。
Okay, weird.
Yeah, and on 2,000 feet, it's indeed 40 knots headwind from the west. So that's nice.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's just that to fly a bit faster.
ボーイング772のどこの航空会社か見ていきたいと思います。
I disable mine.
Which airline in that Boeing 772? I would like to take a look.
Yeah, just turn the
Transponder.
transponder off.
これが自動翻訳装置の威力ですね。
This is the power of automatic translation equipment.
あ、これも KLM だ。
Got a beautiful view here of Iceman flying the KLM 787 on my tail. Throttle down slightly. Back in cruise altitude.
.まだ今日は隊長の姿を見かけてませんな。あ、ここら辺か？もちゃもちゃしてるから。
Get my TCAS.
遅いから今日はあんまり激しい
Somebody
起
red
動
yellow.
ができなかった金太郎ですが。
Yeah, frozen again.
No, I can
KLM
through.
ボーイング
Yeah, but I just saw.
トリプルセブンかな。お、若干のラグが発生しておりますね、相変わらず。
Proby Pizza is joining late, but we'll try to catch up. Yeah, I mean, just use slew mode if you have to catch up to the group. We've only done one touch and go so far.
3.
I think we have something like 7 touch and goes in this flight plan today.
おー、KLM 祭りですね、
Most
ここら辺も。
ports are actually airports. I think we also have almost all the airports in the Netherlands, all the GA airports.
F16 がエスコートしております。
Nixon's asks, what do you Dutch folks like eating that is native to your
KLM に検体。
I've got a few photos.
Yahoo!
Peter, why don't you answer that question?
Should there be linked to the photos you showed?
Well, I mean,
3検体。
you answer the question, then I'll
これはまあこれでなかなかの異様だです。異様な
I was there as a
という
tourist,
か
I was
貴
eating
重な
their
光景ですな。
which may or may not
JAL
be
もやってくんないかな。
I mean,
JAL は
normally
も
for
うで
dinner
も
we
世
have
界的に人気がなくなっちゃったかな。
It's just
日本のリバリー意外と入ってないんですよね、リバリーセットに。
potatoes with some vegetables and some either meat or vegetarian.
あ、これ女の人の絵が描いてある。垂直
However, on the baking stuff, we're a bit more
お
creative.
ビジョンジェット。
So there you have your stroopwafels and stuff like that.
おー、すごい距離来た。
My screen. Here is factual gall with a stroop waffle, which is in Amsterdam. And for those who don't know, why don't you explain what it is we're looking at here, Peter? What is factual eating in this photo?
Yeah, so she's making a cookie with yeah, what is in between? It's a stroop actually, so it's also called a stroopwafel, but not a stroop waffle. But it's some kind of Canadian syrup, but thicker, more based on sugar.
This is
And it's very sweet and yummy.
Yeah, factual says in chat, yum.
Yum. Syrup waffle, yeah.
Yeah. Here's another photo I will show you. When I was in Amsterdam, my first night in Amsterdam, I wanted to have like what was like a very Dutch dinner, and you know, obviously it's not a home cooked meal, so we had to go to a restaurant.
や
But
っぱりい
searching
つも
on
乗り慣れ
Google
た
Maps
飛行機はいいですな。
for Dutch cuisine, this is what came up that was nearby, and this was recommended. So look at this photo, Peter. Would you say this is a traditional Dutch cuisine based on what you're
No.
saying there?
So this is what we this is what we call borrelen, and borrelen is something you do at around 4 o'clock
ドン
before
キャット
dinner.
もいますね。後から
Okay.
This is just
ご
for
一緒できるといいですけど。
which is another Dutch phenomenon. It's called gezelligheid,
DC3。
and that's a typical Dutch thing, and it's called
DC3
something
に
translated
変態
to。something like coziness, but not
うわ、
really coziness. It's just
なんか
being
リバリーがバグ
out
って
to
ましたね
spend
今
a good time. When you having
恐ろ
that,
しい
it's
ことで
called
すよ。
having it gezellig.
恐ろしいものを見ま
So
した。
people, in order to have it gezellig, will
Okay.
go borrelen, and they'll order stuff like this, or either fried stuff. So we have our bitterballen, our croquette,
Oh,
our-
bitterballa.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love
So
that.
so usually you consume that around 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
C160 もやっぱりなんか買ったんだな、多
To
分。
dinner with a full stomach.
そういえばセールかなんかやってたのかな。あんまり覚えがないけ
So
ど。
this is served best with a cold beer.
セールは神の声なので、
Well, you know what? In fact, I think
結
I
構
had
無
that
条
one.
件で買っちゃうんですよね。
This one, I don't know if you recognize that brand. I always try to eat and drink local products. This one was recommended by the server.
You
C160
know what that translates to, right?
ターボプ
No, I
ロッ
don't.
トかな。ターボプロ
Is
ッ
it
ト
safe for
の
work?
No.
Okay.
Well, kinda. So literally it
なんか
translates to.
あれに似てますね、カナダ
Oh,
の。
okay.
So let's read into that what you want.
DH なんだったっけな。DH
And
Caribou
then, of course,
と
the
かってや
Netherlands
つ
is。very famous for its cheeses. And when I was in Amsterdam, I did a cheese tasting, which I would highly recommend. Here's a photo I snapped of that. 5 different cheeses, and each was served with a different wine pairing. And they gave you a piece of paper and a pen here where you can write down your tasting notes for color, smell, taste, consistency, age, and
ここに
overall
もスコー
impressions.
ズがある。タッチン
And
グ
these
する
were
の
all
か
good
な。
cheeses. A+++ would recommend.
ツールっぽいですね。
So the fun part is that Dutch cheeses in itself are relatively boring in the sense that they're very different from French cheeses, right? French cheeses have a really rich, strong taste, whereas the yellow Dutch cheese always have a more flat, almost boring. I wouldn't call it boring, but less expressive taste, so to say. Or at least that's in my.
Yeah, down. Drop down.
So in terms of Dutch cuisine, those are all the photos I have. Oh, actually, no, there is one more. I lie. But we're coming up on our next touch and go. So remind me after we do the landing. I will show you a few more photos of some Dutch cuisine right there.
Yeah, we're heading for Texel at the moment, which is another great GA airport for a $200 handler.
さっきの。
€200.
この前なんかあれでもあったな
Yeah, and I think even
ATR
200
の
euro is
4か
nuts.
なんかでもああいう風に見えたことがあるんですよ。なんかちゃんと持ってないリバリーが変な風に
I
見
think
える
it's
こ
more
とがあ
like
る
a
のかもし
€300
れないですね。
these
工
days.
場ど
Is
こ
this
じゃ
a grass strip or is this a paved runway?
Yeah, no grass again.
Another grass strip? Okay.
Another grass strip. Yeah. Most of the grass strips actually are reinforced, so they have some kind of plastic reinforcement underneath. So it's not because we have a lot of rain normally in the Netherlands. So that's purely to keep stopping it from being absolutely drenched and muddy and stuff.
All right. Once again, grass strip. I think I've got the field in sight.
もういった信号ちょっと早いけど
Not entirely sure.
Oh yeah, that's,
Yeah.
Texel has its own beer. It's called Sweet Pickle. Which translates to bonehead.
Okay, if you can see kind of at my 11 o'clock, I think that is the runway. It's always hard to tell with grass strips near farmland if that's actually a runway or if it's just part of a farm.
It's indeed very good beer. I once had a 3 or 4 and I stood up and I couldn't walk. So, yeah.
All right, lowering landing gear.
But that's a good run then.
Yeah, that's a it was a good beer.
ラプタ
Bit
ーを
stronger than
落
I
としたんですけ
anticipated.
どああここにトムキャットあでも D だから見えないなトムキャットは
All right, turning what I think is final to a runway. This has got to be the runway.
F22 ラプター戦闘
Yeah,
機で
yeah, the
す
orientation looks.
Okay.
Last time I had a hamburger there, the Dutch coast.
アメリカ空軍仲間
plane,
ま
the
あ
aircraft of the Dutch Coast Guard, which is,
F15 この C
back then was
型も
doing
もう退役
also
寸
landed
前
there
です
for
けど
lunch.
っていうかもう
which was,
退役
very
し
good.
始めていると思いますその次の E 型で生きていくともう C 型はよく今まで頑張りましたイエーイ
All right, let's see if I don't pitch up 90 degrees nose up after this touch and go this time. Still not sure what exactly happened on that last one.
Did you? I saw your nose wheel go. I think you used all the runway.
Okay, pretty smooth landing for a grass strip. I'll take that one. Hopefully I can get a smoother takeoff this time. And rotates, positive rates, gear up.
In the meantime, I flew a bit further, and we're now passing Den Helder, where also the marine of the Royal Netherlands is situated. But currently there are no ships
14D
in
は
the
持って
harbor.
ないっすな
All right, much better job on that last touch and go. Helps when I don't hit a ditch at the end of the runway.
Way more comfortable.
Yeah.
So now we're heading for Amsterdam.
Okay, so Schiphol, of course, is the number one most trafficked airport in the Netherlands, and it is.
Even Europe, or no? That's.
I think
Sweden.
Heathrow.
Heathrow, yeah, and Germany also probably.
Frankfurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, but certainly it's one of the, I would say, definitely the top 5 in Europe.
これもいい飛行機ですけどこれ以外のリバリーをあんまり見かけないですね
Look at Peter doing some fancy formation flying with another airliner.
doing all the work, right? I'm just
You're just flying normally.
I'm just flying on autopilot.
Yeah. All right, I'm 40 nautical miles from Schiphol. All right, I want to show you one more food thing, and then we'll move on. This was
I can talk about food.
This was in Amsterdam, and got some street food. Probably the most famous street food you can get in Amsterdam. These were being sold everywhere. So Peter, why don't you? The chat probably knows this is. They may not know what the sauce is though. So Peter, why don't you walk through this?
It's a fries, which I think is well known in the Netherlands, and it has yoppie sauce, which is just I think it has mustard, mayonnaise, bit of baked onions, I guess.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So all the chip places that you could buy street food in Amsterdam, they all had a variety of sauces. So you buy your chips, and then, like they would have 10 or 12 or 15 different choices of sauce, and you know there were some basic ones like ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, you know, pretty standard ones. But then the one that the locals recommended, like we asked the proprietor, said, well, what's like the famous local flavor? And this was the yopi sauce, is what they suggested we try. And so here it is.
飛行機ワッチングに忙しくてなかなかオランダといえば風車ですがそれじゃない。
Fries is not that common here in the Netherlands. You mostly get them into a some kind of either carton or plastic, can.
スーパーホーネット発見ですね。
And then you eat from that because I personally hate those bags because since they're going into they converge into a point, so the last few fries are always very hard to get out.
Pumparn is asking, why can't I see all the planes? You're on Xbox. Make sure on the correct server, and when you started the flight, make sure you had all players mode turned on. Also on Xbox, you need to be a subscriber to Xbox Live Gold or Game Pass Ultimate to enable multiplayer on Xbox. So that may be the reason as well.
Oh, なかなかいいですね。これはさっきのサンダーバーズの人かな。
So you can also see here in the Netherlands is as flat as it can be.
I was about to remark that same thing.
You can look as far as the eye can see.
So interesting conversation we were having before we went live. I was asking Peter if there was any point on today's flight plan where we could actually fly and be airborne while being below sea level and have negative altitude. And we think close to Rotterdam, you can get slightly below sea level.
Yeah, so the runway in Rotterdam is slightly below sea level. So when I take off in real life, the moment I get airborne, I'll be flying at a negative altitude for a few seconds. Maybe one. Because it's like -5 or -7 meters on the runway itself. So you'll only hit the negative altitude for a really short time when you rotate. But yeah, technically, yeah.
Oh.
I'm going to put a link in the chat. We talked a little bit earlier about the KLM Delft Blue porcelain houses they give to business class customers. Of course, every year on today's date or tomorrow's date, October 7th, the anniversary of the founding of KLM, they announce what this year's Delft Blue house will be. And so there's a link in the chat. You can check it out. They made the announcement. And there apparently there's an app, according to this website. You can get it for iOS or Android, where it shows you the history of every Delft Blue house they've ever released.
Oh, that's cool.
And not only does it show you the porcelain version you get on board a KLM flight, but it actually talks about the history of the real building in the Netherlands that it's based on.
Oh, I'm being escorted by an F-18.
これは相当かっこいいので。
I'm now Antonov 225.
That's better.
Hex the legend.
Oh heck! What? Is Hex not flying a Dark Star?
On my screen.
It's weird. Maybe he's sick.
Maybe you don't have the Dark Star installed. Oh no, that looks like a AN225 for sure.
Inverted. Yeah.
And he's
Oh
losing
heck.
altitude.
see your military escort.
Yeah, an F-18 on the F-18 on the left and an F-16 on the right, but sadly I don't have the F-16 plane. The Dutch Air Force only, not only, but their fighters are F-16s and are currently being replaced with F-35s.
Yeah. Pretty similar here in Canada. We have F-18s, not F-16s, but also phasing those out gradually and replacing them with F-35s.
They are assigned to behold those F-35s. I've had the pleasure of meeting one in the air, and it was very impressive.
They're also very loud.
They're very loud.
Very loud.
I could hear them through my headset. And he wasn't nowhere near really close by, but even then you could really hear him really well.
Yeah, a couple years ago when we were at Reno, they had the U.S. Air Force F-35 demo team
素晴らしい腕前ですか、皆さん。
was present there, and yeah, it was loudest aircraft at the Reno Air Races by a long shot.
Yeah.
むちゃくちゃしおる。
Engelwood talking about the history of the Dutch East Indies Company.
Yeah.
Apparently was the first publicly traded company in the world. That's
It was, yes, it was the first company being at the public trading. So the whole concept of public trading started in the Netherlands with the East Indian Company.
Dutch East Indies, by the way, if anyone is not familiar, is what we would call present-day Indonesia.
Yeah. So the KOC, the East Indian Company, has a bit of a double feeling, right? Because they did as well. So it's always a bit of a gray area in the history of the Netherlands, or actually a black area, if you want.
Yeah.
It's not something to be proud of, but yeah, it has happened.
It looks like you're slightly ahead of me. You appear to be on the outskirts of Amsterdam. I'm 12 nautical miles away from the airport, currently.
これはどこのマークでしょうかね。オランダ空軍のこれが国籍標識がどこの国籍標識かちょっとわかんないですけど。
Amsterdam, much like Venice, very famous for its canals that run all through the city.
Yeah, but in Amsterdam they were mostly used for sewage, or as a sewer back in the days. And only later they were I think I'm not sure
この位置につくのはなかなか横向きながら使わないといけないから編隊飛行は難しい。
Because nowadays it's mostly decoration, right? There are a few floating houses in it and a few pleasure craft, but it's not really used on a day-to-day basis by a lot of I don't know, transportation companies or stuff like that.
Now, I might be confusing this with something else, but are there a relatively small number of crazy people who will go swimming in the canals?
ということでかなりかっこいい絵ですなこれは。
Wholeheartedly discourage it.
あっちに747がいるのであれを見に行きたいと思います。
water
おおまた来た。あの人もめちゃめちゃ
They are very pretty. In fact, I'll bring up a photo of the.
to look, they're really nice.
あの747はどこ
But I would not want to go swimming in them.
のなんか旗が立って
My
る。
screen was dropped again.
せっかくなので。
Okay, here we go. That's a very stereotypical photo of Amsterdam right there. If you ever see a
Niskyōkai
photo that looks like this,
ですよ。
you can be sure that's Amsterdam. Yeah, this is one of the canals that's running through the
オラ
city.
ンダ。
Another way you can tell it's Amsterdam is all the bikes. Cycling is by far the most popular method of transportation in Amsterdam. And in fact, I've got one more photo I want to show you. I could not believe this. It was such a wild thing
博物
that I
館
saw
で
it
す
when I was in
ね。
Amsterdam that I had to get a photo of it. What is going on here? This is sacrilege.
もうぶつかったな。
for a building to
死
put up
な
this
ない設
sign.
定にしてある
Yeah,
から
so you can park your bike against that.
大丈夫でしたけど。
Okay, that's what that means.
We
I
actually
thought
see
it meant like no cycling. And I
No,
was like, what?
don't park your bike here. That's what it
Yeah.
means.
Okay.
Which makes sense, right? Because
Yeah.
we do have a lot of bikes. Makes sense, right? Yeah, so for everything within like 2-3 kilometers, I usually take the bike, not the car. Especially here in the village itself where I live.
By bike, do you mean
Hashika.
KTM?
へー
No, I
変わ
mean
った
actual very old bike I have.
Actual.
It creaks.
Oh.
But it works, so it's fine. And actually, if you see the infrastructure there, everything is
西
focused
教
on
会
bikes.
さっ
You
き
even
見
have
ましたよね。
bike
アム
highways,
ステルダム中央駅。アムステルダムって聞い
which
た。
have
ここら辺なんか
right
結
of way.
構昔ハブ航空だったところじゃないで
By the
す
way, I'm
か
flying over what is central
Amsterdam
Amsterdam right now.
って。
This is the central train station.
Oh.
So if you arrive at Schiphol by
Oh,
air and
Schiphol,
you want to take
that's
a train
right.
into the city, this is where you will end up. And from here you can walk
Nantuka
around.
Amsterdam.
Another very famous landmark in Amsterdam of historical significance is the Anne Frank House, which I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with. I don't know exactly where it is. It's somewhere around here where I'm sort of moving my mouse. I don't know exactly which building it is, but it's in this area right here.
な建物ですな。
Always slow down.
今せっせとシーナリーを読み込んでおりますね。
I was also in Amsterdam on New Year's Eve, which sounds like it should be a lot of fun. New Year's Eve in Amsterdam. That sounds
No.
really cool, right?
No,
Do not
no.
do that. If you're a tourist or even if you're a local, do not go to Amsterdam on New Year's Eve. I cannot stress this point enough. It is not fun. It is awful. It is terrible. Do not do it.
ヨーロピアンのフラ
So
ン
Peter, for anyone who is not familiar, if they're wondering why you should not be in Amsterdam on New Year's Eve,
じゃあ
can you
そろそろ
explain to
コ
our
ードに
chats
戻りますか。
why that is a problem?
So for us, fireworks are always forbidden. Always. Except on New Year's Eve. And people completely go
うん、すげえ
berserk
高
with
速
it.
道路。
I know people who will happily
やっぱり
spend
先進国って感じですな。
500 to 1,000 euros for that
違
single
うんだよ
night
な。
just to blow it up. Personally, I can't be bothered with it because I find it insane kind of thing to just literally burn money. But people love it, and it's like a war zone, and there's no other word for it. Especially in the big cities,
Yeah.
it's horrible.
Yeah, Warzone was the exact words that I used to describe it. Grote Malone in chat says World War III. Yeah, so it started at approximately 5 p.m. on New Year's Eve, and it didn't stop until well into the next morning. So more than 12 hours straight of random people on the street. Not even in a public square or anything, just at a regular intersection on the street,
Yeah,
shooting
in the
off
middle of the streets,
fireworks
yeah.
in the middle
And
of
people.
in the middle of a busy street with hundreds of people around.
Yeah, and they will actively aim for you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
no,
Not fun.
not okay. No.
で
And there are
Dugo
like
Tower says, I did 2 tours in Iraq and 2 in Afghanistan, but it's worse in Amsterdam.
it is.
アムス
It
テルダム
literally is.
有名な飛行場、空港だと思い
Yeah,
ます。アムステ
and
ルダム
there's so there are hundreds
最
and
近も
hundreds of
そうなのか
incidents
知らない
where
ですけど、
police,
昔はなんかヨーロッパに
firefighters,
行くとき
ambulance
は、
personnel
ここがハ
are
ブ空
getting
港にな
either
ってて、
um,
ここからなんか
fireworks
分
and
かれ
or
ていっ
even
たんじゃないで
wounded
し
or
ょうか。
death in one ear or
はい
stuff like that, and they can't stop it. Every year it's the same mayhem.
And now I've heard the government has tried to do a crackdown and
Right.
ban it, but people just
Wrap
disregard it,
around,
and
yeah,
you
no.
can't arrest everyone. There are like tens of thousands of people doing this.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
that's the so the police. I mean, every available policeman is on the street that evening. But I mean, there's only so much you can do, right? Boys, 13, 14, 15-year-old boys with bags full of fireworks, they'll just walk or run, and you can't catch them because by the time you hear something, or you go have a look, they're gone, and it's just completely
う
impossible to
ん
catch them.
降りようとしてた滑走路が分かんなかっ
And
た。
a lot of older guys actually encourage
こ
those
こ
kids
みん
to
な乗
actually
れ
do
てる
it.
これに降りるか。
So they try to crack it down, but for now without success. It does get less every year. You'll see that. So, but it's a slow process.
All right. So I was there in New Year's Eve, 2019, beginning of 2020, and there had been talk even then of it sort of slowing down and there being a bit of a crowd. By the way, I'm not doing an ice approach here into Skiffle at all. This is a sim-tom approach that I'm doing right now.
I skipped it. I'm afraid my autopilot doesn't want to play nice anymore once I land it,
right.
so I'll just keep it on autopilot.
This is not going to be a good landing. I'm just doing this just to do a touch and go here at Skiffle. Diving towards the runway, this is bad pilot is bad. Do not mimic what I'm doing here right now. We won't hear the Jane stall horn because I'm not going to even really flare and stall. I'm just going to let my wheels kiss the runway and then we'll be on our way again. Not even dropping flaps because I'm going too fast. Not even dropping flaps.
一旦着陸して、ストライクイーグルが
I stay on the center line though. I'll give myself
フィー
that.
ト
I do have a picture of myself on a bike.
ちょっと燃料補給しな
There,
が
I
ら
used 3/4 of the runway to touch down. There we are. And now I'm airborne again. All right. Positive rate gear up. All
いた
right, Peter, you said you had a photo of yourself on the
は
bike.
い
Oh, there we go.
これ同じ部隊の仲間じゃないですか202号機イエーイ
Although the little one has his own bike now. But you see already the abundance of bikes in the background everywhere.
E 型なので、新型ですね
Not
モ
just
デル
bikes.
チェンジメジャーモデルチェンジ、マイナーモデルチェンジ型です、マイナーモデルチェンジしたのもだいぶ昔ですけどねよしじゃあ行きま
Sensible
ー
urban
す
design that's not car-centric all the time, which those of us in North America, we are doomed to have
Cars.
Yeah.
That's also good.
I don't own a car. I'm one of the relatively few people in North America that does not. But yeah, certainly our infrastructure in North America, our cities are designed car first all the time, and they have been since the 1950s.
あそうだ
So the fun part, actually, one of the few cities that was relatively car friendly was Rotterdam.
どこから飛ぶの
Because
滑走路3本あった気がしたけど
by Germans. And it was completely flattened. It was completely destroyed. So they had to rebuild it from scratch, basically. Since this was the
あここに
1950s,
降りてからあれも滑走路なんだなあれに入って
the
赤
car
か
was
ら
already
ましょう
pretty much incorporated into life.
ワイルドキャット
So
キャット結
Rotterdam
構見ます
itself, the
ね
city center was very car-centric for a while, until like 2-3 years ago, and then they made it again. They made the streets single lane instead of triple or double lanes, and they actually gave it back to the
Spitfire.
Yeah.
And you'll see that around the Netherlands happening, Utrecht as well,
いつも
which is another big
エ
city.
ク
in
ス
the
トラム
Netherlands.
330
They also
だ
had
と
a relatively
ぶっちぎられますが
car,
今日は大丈夫です
focused
もう基本そういうのが違いますから
and you see that they actually redug the canal, which was dented in order to make a road. And they actually redug that canal,
ホーク
and now there's water again, and no cars want to walk there.
練習
Which
機
is,
部
I
隊が
think, it makes sense to do that, right?
So there's a growing movement, and I think it's gathering more steam in Europe than it is in North America
左か
to,
ら降りてくる飛行
like
機
you
が
said,
おらしています
reclaim public space for people,
全部は
pedestrians,
見てられま
not
せんが
automobiles. Barcelona, Spain has been at the forefront of this. If anyone's curious about urban design and current movements in people-friendly mobility. Barcelona a few years ago instituted what they call super blocks, which I think is absolutely fascinating. And it probably wouldn't work in many other cities, but in Barcelona, if you ever seen it from the air, and if you haven't, by the way, go explore Barcelona.
It's awesome.
It's one of the coolest looking cities from the air.
どうしてもいつもの
Definitely
It was
check that out.
photogravity, right?
It does have photogrammetry, yeah.
Yeah.
おお、
it's-
この
If you
子
have
重い
the
な。
Spain world update installed.
じゃあ39を見に行
But
きま
anyways,
しょうか。
Barcelona, it's on a perfect
Gripen.
grid, and each block, each city block in Barcelona, unlike most North American blocks, which are rectangle shaped, in Barcelona they're squares. Every city block is a perfect square. And so Barcelona, very forward-thinking urban designers got the local
ちょっ
politicians
と
to
体調
buy
の
in,
声の
and
ボリューム
they
がちっちゃいか
created what they
らあん
call
まり
super
聞こえない
blocks, which you take 9 city blocks in a 3x3 pattern, and around the external square of that 3x3, you're allowed to drive a car at normal car speeds. But within the super block, it's for pedestrians and cyclists, and only delivery vehicles are allowed, and they have a maximum speed limit of 10 kilometers per hour within
ラ
that
ガー
grid.
メンですな。
Right.
And so they've reclaimed so much of this public space for people instead of cars, and it's been a huge success. As with every kind of change, it was initially met with some skepticism and some opposition, but then now that it's been in place for several years, people have been really supportive of it.
多くに
Not a CTD. We've got some issues. I don't know why, but Peter and Papa, their connection on the stream it keeps disconnecting and then reconnecting a minute or so later, and I'm not quite sure why it's happening. But yeah, if you're interested in urban design, if you're a fan of the Not Just Bikes YouTube channel or similar content like that, do a search online for Barcelona Superblock and read all about that. I think it's really neat and really interesting what they're doing. Cities should play SimCity. Well, City Skylines. The City Skylines 2 coming out later this month. Really excited for that. Going to be available on Xbox Game Pass, I believe, as well.
よし、ダバナ点火。
Sorry, go.
Oh yeah, you're coming through again, both you and Papa.
Yeah. So I was just at Rotterdam. Maybe
Hey. I'm 8 nautical
ロッ
miles.
テルダムっていうのも聞いたことがあるな。
So Rotterdam is my
オランダ結構有名な街があるんだな。
Rotterdam is
そうか。ロッテルダム。
One of the biggest harbors in the world. Number one in Europe for sure, and I think it's in top 5 in the world.
I think Antwerp or Hamburg is also pretty big. I'm not sure what it does on volume these days.
あ、隊長
So
発
the
見。
Rotterdam
隊
harbor
長は
actually
ビ
is
ジョンジェッ
there's
トだ。
Rotterdam, there's the city center.
隊長に
And
ご挨
the
拶し
harbor
ておくかな。
is this, and it goes all the way to the sea over there.
And anyone didn't see the news, a little over a month ago we released City Update 4, which added photogrammetry for several cities in Western Europe, Rotterdam being one of them.
Rotterdam,
Rotterdam.
we got them. Yeah, absolutely
隊
awesome.
長だと思ってついてきたビジョンジェットが違う
It's
人
so so recognizable. It's so like real life when you fly now. Absolutely love it.
So that is a free download from the InSim Marketplace, City Update 4. Just like the world updates, we also have city updates now. So like the world updates. All right, I'm turning final into Rotterdam. Turn my nameplates off so I can see the
め
runway.
っちゃ高い。
Wait.
また変な。
Yeah.
Relatively long flight. You're probably over the VOR now.
Coming in pretty high too. Hopefully, I'm gonna have a better touch and go than what I had in Amsterdam.
タッチング、むちゃくちゃタッチング、今もう事故ってたような気がする。はいギアアップ。フラップそのまま。PC
Of
の
course, the Netherlands, like
あ
most
赤い
cities in
Cara.
Europe, or
のさっきの
most
風
countries
景かと思った
not
ら
in North
PC の
America for that
スイ
matter, very easy to get
スイス
intercity
のピラタ
transport
ス
by
っていう
train.
会社の飛行機ですね。
So Peter, how long is the train ride from Rotterdam to Amsterdam? Probably not too
昔は
long.
日本のア
No,
クロバットの
they even have
チームの
a
人が結構乗ってま
very
したけど、最
convenient
近
super
MB339 しか見かけませんね。
which will I think it's even 30 or 40 minutes, something like that. And then from Rotterdam you can also go directly to Schiphol.
隊長はまだ後ろにいる
The blue buildings below. Ah, those are
ご挨
greenhouses.
拶しようと思ったけれども隊長にお会いできない。
Oh, I got a dark star in front of me. I'm gonna guess that's
Okay.
X.
あ、日本のパイロットの方ですな。
All right, short final now.
隊長にご挨拶したいのですがいらっしゃらない。
There we go. That was much better than my previous landings on the screen today.
さっき一瞬見えたのにな。
All right,
見失ったというか
rotate.
あの
Positive rate gear up.
Switch my screen.
声の仕様にやられちゃう。あ、いた隊長発見。隊長何乗ってんの？やっぱビジョン Z だよね。これだ。
This part of the Netherlands, the north and the northwest of Rotterdam. They also call it glass city. There's a lot of greenhouses. This is where all the vegetables, flowers, stuff
ダー
are
クスターある。
grown.
隊長ダークスターあるところ隊
Tulips
長あ
as
り。
well, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Well, tulips are mostly outside because those are actually the fields.
Okay.
But your cucumbers, your tomatoes, stuff like that, and a lot of actually little flowers.
Nixon says one of the coolest parts of Microsoft Flight Simulator is how it brings us all together from across the globe and allows us to share a little part of our local lives with others.
スクリーンショットの
Yeah, I could not agree with that statement more. And in fact, that's one of our goals here on Nerdy Flying Friday, and why we visit different regions, different countries
フライトシミュレ
every
ーターの
week.
コミ
We
ュニ
always
ティ
try to
の
mix it
ス
up.
クリーンショットの大会みたいなのを毎週やってるみたいなんですね。で、それの日本の取りまとめの人っぽいことをされています。
Last week, why am I drawing a blank? Where were we last week?
Where were we last week?
Having a brain cramp.
Where were we? It wasn't April.
2 weeks was Nepal for sure. What was last week? End of September.
We had CK
Oh,
Dos.
World Coffee Day. Yes.
Yes.
Guatemala and Honduras
yes.
last week for International Coffee Day, and then
Como
today
estamos
we're in
todos
Western
como
Europe. So we
Nakawasa
went from Central Asia to
身につけてい
South
らっしゃいます
America
ね。おっとっ
to
と
now
っとっ
Western
と
Europe.
っとっとっと。
We're always mixing it up here on Nerdy Flying Friday.
So I'm currently over the Maasvlakte, which is more of the
なかなか
heavy
安定し
industrial part of the Netherlands. Here you'll see your oil
このフラップが効くか
refineries.
効かないかギリ
I'm
ギ
coming
リ
up
の
to
あ
the
たり
same
っていう
spot,
の
just from a different
なかな
angle.
かフラップ
Yeah,
が上がったり
largest
下がったり
largest harbor in Europe.
おおびっくりしたムスタン
Someone
グ
in
だ
chat
な
did confirm that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And here we have our coal import export, we have our container import export, and we have our liquid natural gas import export, which with the recent energy crisis in Europe has been made hugely important.
And this scenery was all updated with City Update 4.
I think this part, not. This specific part of the Maasvlakte. I think they
今日は
stopped
英語
like
で隊長にご挨
2-3
拶したい
miles to the west with the photogrammetry.
Okay, I'm just looking at all these oil containers below.
Yeah, I think if you take a look, they're actually roundhouses.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Well, it's a pretty convincing effect.
I mean, it works.
Yeah, like if you ask me what I'm looking at right now, I would totally say, oil or gas containers.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you
はい、どこです
uh,
隊長おはようございます。
it has,
今日もよろしくお願いしま
Okay, yeah.
す。今日もよろしくお願いし
I mean,
ます。
it does
Good
give
morning,
some
where
effect.
you are feeling. Thank you
According to
again
Jetty
today.
TV, it says Google says Rotterdam is the largest port in Europe. Yeah.
So
And I believe
actually-
it. I believe it is
ちゃんと
top 5 in the
言えて
world
ない
too.
気がする
Don't quote me on that. I'm not quite as confident. But I know like Singapore and Shenzhen, I think. Used to be Hong Kong was up there as well. That's dropped in the rankings a little bit in recent years though.
I'm
Shanghai,
actually
yeah.
flying over my house right now,
Shanghai.
almost.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. And here's my beach where I usually spend my time.
Well, that's a nice beach. I'm guessing you can't go swimming there, or you can, but it's insanely cold.
Actually, it's pretty nice. I think the water right now is 70 degrees centigrade. In the summer, it was 20 degrees centigrade.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's not bad at all. No, it's pretty comfortable actually.
隊長おはようございます。
So yeah, in summer I'll spend my 10 hours a day or 20 hours a day on this beach here.
Good morning,
And we're
Flight
heading
Commander.
now, to Zeeland,
Flight Commander.
Good morning, Light Commander.
which a lot of people mention, sounds like Sealand or New Zealand.
どうも
Yeah, which it
隊
does.
長とか
Well, that's
Wing
a question I've
commander
seen a lot of
to
people ask before.
ちゃんと
They're
発音が
familiar
良
with
く
the
なかった
country
のかな
New
もう一
Zealand.
回言えば大
They're
丈
like, well, where was original Zealand? And
I think
yes,
it's here.
it is here. It's in the Netherlands. So if we have any Kiwis in the chat, and you're wondering where your country gets its name, it's from this region of the Netherlands that we're flying over right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
夫。持ち上がってる持ち上がってる。
I think
Dastarel
Sealand,
says, "Hey CD, nice to see a face behind the name." Well, we're here every week.
Yeah.
We've done almost 150 community fly-in Fridays now for the last 3
It's not
years.
a new face by any
Yeah.
means.
Every week we do this, so check us out. Same time, same place.
おはようございま
And
す、ウィン
different
グコマン
destination,
ダー。
different region, different part of the world. Every time we do try to sync our events too with
Wing Commander.
something
Oh,
that's
data,
happening
data,
of significance,
channel.
whether it's a country's Independence Day, their national holiday, or if it's historic
こ
anniversary
っちが
from
逆
the
光にな
history
っ
of
ちゃうんだよ
aviation.
な。
Something like that, or if we're celebrating a new release to Microsoft Flight Simulator, like a new world update, for example. We'll tour that
まあまあ
as
今日
well.
もよろしくお願いし
So
ます。今日も
the
よろし
reason
くお
we
願
are
いし
in
ます。
the
ちゃんと
Netherlands
訳せて
today, and the reason we have both Papa and Peter are flying airliners with KLM liveries, is that tomorrow, October 7th, is the 104th anniversary of KLM, Royal Dutch Airlines, which is the
今日もよろし
oldest
くお願いし
still
ま
in
す。
operation airline in the world. Not the
Thank
first
you
ever
again today.
airline, but it is the oldest
Thank you
airline
again
that is
today.
still around
そうい
today.
う言葉になっちゃうのか今日もありがとうってなっちゃうのかよろしくお願いしますはどういうこ
I
とじゃ
think Sealand,
よろしくお
Zeeland
願
is one
い
of
しとるのに
the most beautiful parts of the Netherlands. I might be a bit
黒いグリペンかっこいいですな
what do you call it?
黒い3連星っていうのがいましたな昔ジェットストリームアタックおおすごい上にも下にも
I do quite like KLM's livery. That the powder blue
真上にも
Yeah.
color. It's,
I think they even copyrighted the color itself, right?
that sounds probably right.
よろしくお願いしますはなんて言うんだちょっと
It's actually KLM
待
too.
ってくださいよ隊
Is that what
長
it's
そのまま
called?
そのまま
No, probably.
よろしくお願いします
Oh, hi, Mort.
よろしくお願いします
Thank you in advance.
Okay, David says, speaking of, is there any hint what the next world update will be? Not a hint, it's been confirmed. Announced during the developer live stream last week. World Update 15, coming late this month, is going to be Northern Europe and Greenland. So super excited
お
for
お
that.
M339
Yeah, that will be awesome. I can't wait to fly there.
Yeah. So you're wondering, well, you've already done an update for Northern Europe. We did World Update 5 was the Nordics. So we're covering some of the similar
お月
territory.
だ
But in the,
おお
you know,
ムス
almost
タング
3
も来
years
た
since we released that
いろ
world
んなのが
update,
来
we
る
have access now
イ
to
ンシ
much
デントが
better
発生したりもする
terrain data.
いろいろす
So
る
the elevation data we're going to be bringing in World Update 15 for Northern Europe and Greenland is
い
going
ろ
to
い
be
ろ
much
な
more
ことが
accurate
起
than
きる
what currently exists in the sim.
インシデント怖え
And for someone like me who loves flying in the fjords of Norway, which I think is, you know, probably easily in the
Afraid
top 10 most beautiful places in the world, probably even top 5.
あ
Very excited to see that.
これは隊長と中隊長があれしたってこと
Swedish or
か
Finnish community flight would be cool. Well, we've definitely done Sweden before on the stream.
Yep.
Have we been to Finland? I can't remember. I think we've been to
あれ
Helsinki
したってこ
before.
とだな
I
今
can't,
それ
I
違った
can't
って
remember
ことだ
when
な
though. Mailmore says Norway is a ghastly place.
Yeah,
Wow.
Papa can confirm, I guess.
Always beautiful.
I will attest to Norway being
Yeah,
really nice.
stunning.
And we just have a raid. Richard has come in. Welcome, Richard. Thanks for joining.
いやー、ビジョンジェットもかっこいい飛行機ですな。かっこいいというか、かわいいというか、愛嬌があると思います。なんかちんまりしてて。
Elkaneva says, fun fact, the king of the Netherlands is a Boeing 737 pilot, and he occasionally flies for KLM.
He actually does, yeah.
That's interesting.
With the keyword there being occasionally.
Yeah.
I think he does it once every 5 years or something. Yeah. But yeah, I'm actually pretty interested in how he's keeping his rating current.
I'm guessing he is not pilot in command. He only flies once every 5 years.
But that's just a hunch.
おお、やっぱ変な動き方してると思ったらバグってた。
Alright, I'm currently 6 miles out from the next airport.
エアバス A320。あれか？イージージェット？
Is it a grass strip or a paved runway here, do you know?
Guess.
Grass strip.
Yeah.
Grass strip.
The one after that is actually tarmac.
Yeah.
Paved. And it's shorter than this grass strip, by the way.
Easier to see.
じゃあ、
Yeah.
なんだった？
Okay, is this the...
This TP says grass and
Just
short.
stop.
Well, this one is actually 1,000 meters, so it isn't too bad. I won't land the 787 on it, but...
Okay, I think I see the field where Lotus Geek and Speedy are
Just
currently
generation.
touching down. So I'm gonna pull over here and do a... Call this right base, and then we'll make a right-hand turn onto final.
Yeah, so the entry point on the circuit is actually the little island. Switch to my screen. Little island over there. In the middle, that's the entry point of the circuit. Then you either do a left or a right base.
Is this an airport you've flown into
い
before?
やー、公式集会楽しいですな。
Look at my logbook. Pull up quickly here.
So I've never landed on a grass strip before in real life. As a glider pilot, I have landed on the grass next to a paved runway. Just a designated landing zone for the gliders. The tow planes landed on the runway itself. The gliders landed on the grass next to the runway. But in a powered aircraft, I've never landed on a grass strip.
Oh, no, I've done, for now, I've landed there 45 times. On the Zeeland and on Texel 3
高度
times.
下げてるけど、どっかでタッチングか。
Silly Dev is asking, how realistic is the scenery for the Netherlands? How pleased are you with it? I mean, I've only been to Amsterdam, and I think Amsterdam, the photogrammetry and the POIs look very good. Peter, you're obviously much more familiar with this country. How would you rate the scenery for the Netherlands in Microsoft Flight Simulator?
So if you have the additional We Love PFR mod, which I probably think you're familiar with,
緩いコースからずれて
it
る。
really isn't too
もし
bad.
かしてなんか見るところがある。
And that's mainly because also we do have a lot of grass and fun and stuff like that, which is pretty nicely depicted, as you can see here as well. And then along with the railways and the highways, it's actually a really nice complete set of scenery. That being said, I would love actually having trains in here. Because they usually are.
Sim Thomas here throwing shade. What's up with this flat, boring scenery? I expect more from this channel.
Yeah, we'll go to Belgium next time with all its beautiful mountains. Oh wait.
Alright, I'm coming in way too high for this grass strip. Turned off my nameplates again so I can see where I'm going, and yeah.
オラン
Don't
ダ。
expect a nice landing on this one, folks.
オランダは日本と結構第二次世界大戦で戦争していて、
Well, do you?
日本にコテンパンにされてるからあんまり反日感情は良くないらしいですね。 インドネシアを植民地にしてたんですけ
Who
ど、
makes the Flight Simulator trailer videos? That's our
日本
amazing
がイン
video
ドネシア
production
を攻
team.
撃して
They do
占
great
領し
work.
ちゃ
I
った
always
か
get
ら
really inspired and goosebumps.
えらい
every
こ
time
と
I
に
Yeah.
watch.
And the music, I think
Yeah.
it's one band right that makes all those soundtracks. I
Sorry,
picked them up
gotta
once.
focus on my landing here. Can I touch down, Michael? Oh, I just touched. Now I'm airborne again. There was a canal there. I didn't want to do what this TBM pilot is doing and end up in the water there. But, okay, we made it barely.
朝日が気持ちいいですな。
Peter, I'm guessing you didn't even attempt that landing.
No.
787.
And I
Same with
won't
you,
at the
Papa.
next one as well.
I touched the
Oh, did you?
ちょっと早いなと。
Well, next time, let me know. We'll make sure we're on your screen when you're doing that.
Yeah, I was very focused, so maybe someone saw it.
Yeah, Zeeland famous food is a bolus and tasty cinnamon like bread.
こんなもん
It
で
is
ござい
true.
ましょう。
Covered in sugar and stroop again, and it's
220のとまだちょっと早い。
pretty nice.
Sim Tom says, "Oh, Papa is here too." Laugh emoji.
やっぱり巡航速度がちょっと速いと
Does
縦に
Symptom deserve to
あ
be in
の
chat when he's not joining
なん
the
ていう
stream?
のかな。
Are you proposing that we ban Sim Tom from the chat?
キャラバンが縦にビヨーンって乗っちゃうんですよね。
Post.
トーレン。
Let me look that up. When is Sim Tom going to be joining us again? I know he's been busy with some real life things that have kept him away from co-hosting. Next week, yeah, Sim Tom's going to be back next week. Cool. So that's nice. That says 30 degrees here in Portugal.
That's why he can't.
まあでも、
For wondering what
平べったい
next
土
week's
地ではあ
fly-in
り
is
ます
going to
な。
be. Again, we go all over the world, visit different places.
ネザーラ
Next
ンドっ
week,
ていうのが正式
again,
なん
we
です
try
よ
to match things up with
ね。
historical anniversaries or things
持ってない
happening.
から見れ
October is a very
ません。
spooky month.
これも
We wanted to do
高
some
価
kind
な
of
飛行機で
Halloween
す。
themed stream at some
Netherland.
point during the month of October. And
なんかオラ
of
ン
course,
ダ
we've
っ
been
てい
to
うのはホラン
Transylvania.
ト
I
っ
think
て
we
いう
did that last year on the
昔
We're
の
going somewhere
国名
different
か
this
なん
year.
からしい
It
で
also
す。
happens to be next week
今は
is
あ
the
の
anniversary
使ってない名
of
前だ
the
け
ending
ど、
of the Salem witch trials. A very famous event from American history.
まあ
So
日
next
本
week,
ではもう
uh,
定着
for
してるので、オ
Halloween,
ランダっていう
October,
の
and
は、ま
the
あ、しゃあね
anniversary
えな
of
って
the
いう
Salem
こ
witch
とで、
trials ending. We're going to be flying in the United
オラン
States
ダに
to
許して
Salem,
もらってるみたいで
Massachusetts.
す。オランダはネザーランドと呼んでくださいっていうふうに、まあ、世間に対しては言ってるようなんです
Nowadays,
が
a、bigger airport. In the 80s, it was really small. It's still the same size. It's still very small. It just got a bigger name. They have the, and I think we can call it the audacity to call it Breda International Airport, and it literally has an 800-meter paved runway.
一回通過の
So
向き、
it's a really small airport, but it has a really big name. It's
なんだったっけ。
And technically, they are correct, right? I mean, if
イ
planes
カ
from
は英
Belgium
語
land
で
there,
何
it's
と言い
an
ます
international
か。
airport.
イカは英語で何と言い
Yeah,
ますか。
fair. Yeah, you can have the smallest airport, and as long as it serves more than one country, it's technically.
イカは英語で何と言いますか。
We just tend to think international airports are these large ones with multiple parallel runways and Bravo airspace and so
Ika.
on, but
Yeah.
not necessarily.
Squid.
Squid. Yes. Yes.
They did an Operation Market Garden memorial flight from SEPA last month. Very impressive. That would be actually, if anyone's not familiar with some World War II history, it was actually one of the major defeats for the Allied nations. Ended in disaster, very famously dramatized in the movie A Bridge Too Far, which you may be familiar with.
Yep.
But in 1944, the Western Allies had a plan that they thought they could advance very quickly across some of the rivers here in the
素晴らしい。
Netherlands and advance quickly into Germany. And they had an airborne attack called Operation Market Garden. That was the code name. And it was the largest airborne invasion ever in military history, even bigger than D-Day.
Gliders, right?
They used a combination of gliders and paratroopers. And greatest number of troops deployed by aircraft ever.
タッチングっぽい。
But what was supposed to happen was that the airborne troops would land, capture some key bridges across the rivers,
あ、あれだ。
and then within a day or two, they would be reinforced by ground-based troops that would advance very quickly.
セッペ。
But the reinforcements got stalled by stiff German resistance, and as a result, the operation was a failure. Have you seen the HBO series Band of Brothers? There's an episode of that.
That's where they start, right?
That dramatized Operation Mercury. I think it was episode 4. Yeah. But it was a combined British, American, Canadian, etc. operation. And so yeah, I could see a lot of like DC-3s and so on. They were doing like a commemorative memorial flight to that.
C17。
Definitely makes sense to use those. Okay, David says the Airborne Museum near Arnhem is really impressive.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and so it's the bridge in Arnhem is the subject. That's where the movie A Bridge Too Far gets its name from.
I think we actually crossed that. The bridge.
飛行場が滑走路がもう一つ見えないことの水では何の問題もありません。滑走路はどこじゃい？ストライクイーグル、後で見に行こう。燃料まだ良さそうだけど、狭い飛行場だなこりゃ。短い。降りれるかこんなところに。
I'm 9 miles out still.
Yes.
There's going to be a Band of Brothers type series on the U.S. 8th Air Force on Apple TV. Yes, I heard about that. So Tom Hanks again is the executive producing that, and going to be about like the B-17 and B-24 strategic bombing squadrons from World War II.
ちょっと燃料補給
I
し
believe
よ
that's coming out
うと。
somewhat soon.
ま
It's
だ
been
ある
in
けど。
production for a long time.
お、緑色の台風だ。緑風ですね。
JD's Mubo who said it'd be cool if there was a World War II POI add-on. You know,
yes.
World War II is such a pivotal event in 20th century history that kind of anytime we do a world update that features a country that was involved in World War II, almost always the world update will include you know, one or more landmarks related to that conflict, just because it was probably the most pivotal event of the last 100 to 150 years. Oh, we got another raid coming in. Love 46 has come in with a party of 42. Welcome. Hope you had a great stream, and
これはドイツかな。
glad to have you joining ours. As we are currently cruising over the Netherlands for the 104th anniversary of KLM, which is tomorrow, October 7th.
いろいろ出てきた。ファイル時間と見てないから見えない。
Okay, I'm 3 miles out and do not have the grass strip in sight.
Power.
No, this one is paved. I actually have it.
Oh, it is
here.
paved? Okay.
Yeah, it is paved. Yeah, it's paved.
Well, I don't have the paved strip in sight then.
I have it inside, but as you can see.
Oh, yeah, I got it now.
Yeah.
Immediately next to the highway. Okay. I missed it. I won't be able to do a straight-in approach, as you can see. This is over my screen. I will join left down when it fly a circuit here.
As you're supposed to.
Yeah. Love 46 said you're a sim racer and you really enjoy Microsoft Flight Simulator. Well, of course, in our Xbox family, Forza Motorsports latest edition just launched. I believe in early access of this weekend, launches for everyone on Xbox Game Pass next week. Very excited for that one. And if you're not familiar, Microsoft Flight Simulator also has a racing mode modeled after the Reno Air races. So you can do air racing in P-51 Mustangs, L-39 jets, pit special biplanes, and T-6s, and that is available in Microsoft Flight Simulator and the InSim Marketplace.
One short final.
Oh, okay.
This is getting messy.
They pretend on 800 meters of runway. Yeah.
John Jet.
Flying Quarter says, I've been dividing my free time between Forza and flying. Yeah. Certainly amongst our gearheads on the team, a lot of excitement for Forza Motorsports.
A320 あ、ホンダジェットが飛んでる。後でちょっと見に行きます。さっき見にこっちいた。ストライクイーグルはもうだいぶ前行っちゃったかな。
Alright, thanks for that, Love 46, and good luck in your racing. Thanks for that race.
KLM ですよ。
So chat, as you know, the Forza series of games, they have sort of two entries in the family. There's Forza Motorsports, which is sort of like a more serious simulation racing game. And then there's Forza Horizons, which is sort of like a more exploration, adventure, open world racing game. Which, do you have a preference between the two? For those of you who like auto racing,
昔は
do you like them
国
both?
際
Do you
線
like
の
one
航
better
空
than the
会社っ
other?
ていうのは一つの国に1個っていう決
For
ま
me
りがあったみ
personally,
た
I
い
like
です
Forza
ね。
Horizons. I like just being able to explore the
で
open
もそ
world
の
and just do
あ
random
れを引
events.
き継いでると
I
ころ
find
を
that's a
ま
lot of
あ
fun. But yeah, I know like the more serious simulation type fans, definitely
国の
motorsports is the
なん
one
ていうんだ
that
ったっ
they
け
tend to
な
prefer.
Still pretty fast time.
代表的な、
Oh, yeah.
会社なんですけど、日本はまあ日本航空がそうだったんですけ
Yeah,
ど
I'm
な
coming
くなっ
in
ちゃっ
really
た
fast.
の
Again,
で
I'm just gonna kiss the
なく
ground
なっては
here
いないけど
on this touch and go. I'm coming in way too
傾い
fast.
ちゃったので
Did I even touch down? There we go. Wheels touched. That counts.
Yeah, that counts.
All right, positive rate gear up.
So the approach you just did is pretty tricky in real life because
KLM.
you
Yeah,
because of
but
the trees and short final. You often get wind shear, and also after you go, you actually have to actively steer to the left to go over the highway because otherwise you'll get some noise complaints. So it's always pretty tricky, and I did practice touch and goes at Seppe with a DA62, where your approach speed is a lot higher than Cessna, and then 800 meters isn't much runway at all. If you overshoot a bit, you have to go around because otherwise you won't make it.
ちょっと前に行きますか。
Got Sonic Rose flying P-51 Miss America behind me. We met Sonic Rose when we were at Reno a couple weeks ago. Myself and Jay.
今アマプラでエアフォースワンタダで見れるんですよ。この前も F15 の空中戦する一番かっこいいとこだけ見ちゃいました。ミグ29と交戦するんですけど、まあ古い CG なんでちょっと今の最新技術の映像に比べるとちょっとあれっちゃあれなんですけど、アフターバーナーを大抵加速するところが超かっこいいんですよ。
By the way, Peter, how many touch and goes do we have left? We must be getting relatively near the end now, right?
Yeah, we still have Eindhoven left, and after that to the final one at the daily stop.
So one more touch and go and then a full stop.
あ、どこ行くんだろうこの飛行機。
So Eindhoven is either the third largest or second largest airport. I'm not sure on volume. I think it's actually the second largest, and Rotterdam is the
ラ
third
グゴー
largest.
ストかな。
Oh right, Dover. Oh right, we're not landing at the daily stop. We're
これ
landing
も
at Dover.
フリーのアドオン機体ですね。
Okay. Here's the big question for you, Peter. We've toured, or will be touring, almost the entire country of the Netherlands on today's Flying Friday. If someone was to visit as an international tourist to your country, they're almost certainly going to arrive in Schiphol, so they're going to spend some time in
特
Amsterdam.
殊任務があるんでしょうかね。
Yeah, okay. So where else should they go in the Netherlands?
So
What are the highlights that they should see? And maybe some like kind of hipster suggestions too, like off the beaten path. You know, not the most popular places as well. The hidden gems.
So the hidden gems are either cities, are places like Leiden and Delft. Delft in itself is also pretty touristy, but somehow a lot less than Amsterdam, while Amsterdam and Delft pretty much alike when it comes to setup and building architecture and stuff like that. And the same goes for Leiden. Rotterdam in itself is pretty
今この辺
hip,
にあれがあり
but
ホン
you
ダ
see
ジェッ
there
トが
an
いるさ
increasing amount of
ホンダ
tourism.
ジェット見に行こ
So that it used to be pretty underground for tourists, but now it's pretty popular.
うオランダ
But
上
you,
空を
you
飛
can
ん
still
でい
visit
ます
Rotterdam, of course. It's pretty modern architectural stuff.
ホンダ
And
ジェットを
for
見に行こうと思いましたが
more nature one, we go to Netherland, which is
フライトシミュレーター
in the Netherlands,
2020
a
の
bit more to the right, which is a really
マル
big
チプレイヤ
natural
ー
park
の
with
仕
lots
様
of
に
sand,
阻まれて見えなくなっちゃいました
forests, or you can go to the beaches along the entire coast of the Netherlands. If I were you, I would stay away from those really touristy spots like Scheveningen
基地なんですよね
Monster, for example. But you can go to a lot less known, or Zandvoort. You can go to a lot less known places along the coast, and you have as well nice beaches with a lot less people.
So speaking of hipster things to do in the Netherlands, I'm going to show you something here. This is probably the most hipster food and drink I've ever seen in my life. This was in Amsterdam. This was on New Year's Eve in Amsterdam, in fact.
あなんか
Factual and I went out
Landmark.
for dinner before we got terrorized by the local population. And we went to a Michelin star restaurant
スタ
in
ディア
Amsterdam. And
スタデ
Factual
ィア
ordered a cocktail. It was like a mojito, but it was like their spin on a mojito.
ランドマー
And
クするの大
I'm
きい
going to
か
show
ら
you
目
what they
立つからか
serve,
な
Factual's cocktail. The
あん
receptacle.
まりファンシーは
that they
興
give.
味ないけど
I know I've shared it before, but it's hilarious for anyone who hasn't seen it. Yeah, this is a Michelin star, very high-end restaurant in Amsterdam. And Factual ordered, like, this was like a 15-euro cocktail, and they gave it to her in a plastic bag.
With a straw.
Yes, and I love the duality of this, right? It's a plastic bag, but they used a paper straw because, they're environmentally sustainable, right? You don't want to pollute the environment and
500
put plastic in
ぐら
the
いいっちゃ
ocean.
うから
So we
ね
have to give you a paper straw.
いやいや
We won't give you
参
a
りま
glass,
すなやっぱ
a
高
glass
性能機に乗ってると
receptacle to drink this from.
すい
It
ま
has to
せ
be
ん
a plastic bag.
ちょっと気を抜くとすぐスピード出ちゃうんですよねいい飛行機に乗って
It
る
was
と
good. The restaurant was good. The food was great. But what were they
ちょっと嫌
thinking
味な
with
物
that?
言いをしてみたい年頃だったんですよのスーパーホネットが突っ込んでた
We did sack once during
Well, I'm showing you some other drinks we had in Amsterdam. Here was at the Bowls Museum, and you can tour, hundreds of years of
エアバス
Dutch
310
gin history. The Bowls Museum, and they have like
310
so many different flavors that they make. But they at the end they have a bar, and they serve really cool cocktails. And these were the two that we had. Both of them were, again, served in proper glasses this time. And these ones are actually quite delicious.
後ろにうじゃうじゃいますね前におるのがいるのか
One shot again, or something like that.
I got your screen, or your stream is frozen at the moment. So
ちょ
nobody
っと
wants to switch over to you.
309 は
Hopefully
見
it'll
てみたか
recover
っ
soon.
たなリバリ
It shows screen now.
もう前にはあまりでないのかな
The Airbus Beluga, is there for Microsoft Flight Sim 2020? There is not. However, if you watch the trailer for Flight Simulator 2024, which we unveiled back in June at the
ホンダジェット
Xbox Game Showcase, the Beluga XL made an appearance in the trailer. Beluga XL has got to be one of the coolest looking aircraft, at least from the exterior.
いやーいい
And
とこで
Airbus
すな
just
いいとこでなんて
I
い
think
う
it was in
か
the last month or so.
飛行機がい
A
っ
couple
ぱい
more
来て
Beluga
ですな
XLs came off the assembly line, and they have some new liveries for them.
平べったい土地ば
I
っ
don't
か
know
で
if
あ
anyone
ま
saw
り
this. Oh, photo of it.
見るところはありませんが
There we go. Look at that one. I love that it's winking.
エアバスワッチング行きますぜ
There's another photo. Same thing. Just a
お
more
昼休
close-up
み
view
の
of
エア
it.
バスワッチング社長を出しましたよ
Love it.
ホンダジェットホンダジェットウォッチング
Oh, here I got an airport in sight. Are we doing a touch and go here? Yeah. Okay. I will very quickly join. Whoa, that's a steep turn. I'm gonna very quickly join a left downwind. There we go. Turn base here in a moment. Okay, gear down. Gear down. And gear locked.
お昼休みは
Gonna toggle
ホンダジェット
nameplates
ウォ
off
ッチン
again
グ
so I
で
can
す
see
よ
where I'm going. Toggle nameplates off again so I can see where I'm going.
笑っていいともっていうのももう知らない人が増えちゃって若い人とは話が合わないんでしょうかねまあ言うて私も
I'll try not to come in at 150 knots.
ホンダジェットあこれなんかおしゃれな
See if I can do a slightly
カラ
better
ーリン
landing
グで
this
すね
time.
かっこ
There
いい
we go, 105. That seems
ホ
more
ンダジェッ
realistic
トなん
for
か
a
機種の下
vision
がちょ
jet.
っと
It's better.
膨らんでるのが
Is it
な
too
んていうの
slow?
かなちょっとダ
I
サ
don't
い
know.
感
Anyone
じ
anyone know the POH or have a copy of the POH for the Cirrus Vision Jets?
なんで
And
こ
know
の
what
機
the
種の下があんな膨らんで
recommended
るの
approach
か
speed is?
な
It feels comfortable.
イエ
95. Okay, I'm 10 knots too fast
ーイでも
apparently.
綺麗な飛行
Let me just pitch up slightly.
機この翼の上にエンジンを置くというのちょっと珍しい構造の飛行機です
There we go.
It's pretty slow
まあ
for
胴
a
体が
jet.
広く使えていいらしいですよ
Englewood says 80 to 85 according to the Cirrus owner's manual.
Yeah.
That seems really slow.
The stall speed at maximum takeoff weight with flaps down is 67 knots. That's nothing.
Now, why does my airspeed indicator in the Vision Jet not have the white arc for the showing the flap speed? So I often use that to judge what
はい
the
じゃあ
approach speed should be. Kind of like 5 to 10
楽しいで
knots.
すねよろしくお願いしま
And
す
here
で
it says
that's all.
D-ref and 83.
は待ちや
Have a typical
A little bit left of the center line there. Smooth touchdown, but not quite centered. Give that a 6 out of 10.
一気に加速
Oh, I have high standards for myself. Don't breathe myself. All right. You're up.
音速を超え
So that
ま
was
し
our
た
last
よ
touch and go. We're now en route to our full stop.
Yeah, yeah, to Teugen, which is again a small airfield, but it's paved.
前方集団に突っ込んでいきます
I have some real life photos from it, I guess. A little bit of searching.
前方の集団に突っ込んでいきます前方の集団に突っ込んでいき
Pilot up
ま
in
す
the
Oh, wait, for those of you who are
front.
wondering what aircraft I'm flying today, it's not a default plane, so you may not have seen this one before. This is the
合っ
Cirrus
てるの
Vision
この
Jets
インプって
from developer FlightFX. Really enjoy this one. Definitely one of my favorite third-party aircraft in Microsoft Flight Sim. And I've said this before in the stream, but people ask, you know, if money was no option, you
こ
could
の
buy
役
any
で合っ
plane.
てんのか
And my answer would be this
こ
one.
の役で合ってんの
Is this a good
Without
fit for this role?
ローあ、ゴールだ。もうゴールしてる人たちがいる。ゴールしてる人たちがいます。結構ゴ
Complete
ー
with
ルしてま
parachute.
す
Yeah, it
ね。
also has an auto land.
And parachute.
Yeah, so here's the parachute. Take a look at the interior here. Here, we pull this red lever right here. Cirrus airframe parachute system used for emergencies only. So if there's an emergency situation and you can't find anywhere safe to land and do a normal emergency landing, you can pull this red lever and a parachute will deploy from the top of the plane itself, and the entire aircraft will come gently down. Usually in a state that it can be flown again, obviously with some repairs. It won't be in perfect flying condition, but it won't be a write-off in most cases. And the Vision Jets, at least the real one, also I believe has the emergency auto land system. I'm not sure if that's...
Yeah, down.
Oh, is this it here?
The brake close.
Yeah, safe return auto land. So you push this big, if you're a passenger, you can push this big red button. And if the pilot is incapacitated for any reason, and you're a passenger who doesn't know how to fly, you can push that red button and the plane will land itself at the nearest, it'll figure out where it is and it'll find the nearest airport with the appropriate instrument landing technology, and the plane will land itself at that location, which is pretty remarkable. And there was a situation.
People also talk to the
Yeah. So cool. There was a situation where this actually happened.
Was there a real life?
だいぶ下手くそでし
I
た
don't know
が
if it was in a Vision Jet or if
下
it
手く
was
そなものは仕方
something
がない
else, but it was using this technology. And it
結
was
果
a
を
woman
悔やん
was
でも
flying
仕
with her
方があり
husband.
ま
The
せ
husband
ん
was the pilot, and he had either a heart attack or a stroke while in the air and could no longer fly for a medical emergency. And the woman pushed the button, and the plane landed itself safely. Which is a pretty incredible piece of safety tech when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it's all just a combination of existing stuff, but still to integrate it all on a safe and even commercial valuable manner.
あんまり広い滑走路じゃな
I
かったで
believe
す
in
ね
Microsoft Flight Simulator that
はい
it's not. I don't think I
着
can hit the
陸
big red button. No, hovering over it doesn't do anything.
追い風側で着
But
陸
you
し
know,
た
in
よ
the
うな
real
気
plane,
が
the
す
real
る
Cirrus Vision Jet,
ちょっと
a couple safety options. You've got the
上
airframe
上
parachute,
品
and
に
then you've
こ
got
の
the emergency
タキシ
auto
ーウ
land.
ェイをちゃんと通っていきますかでもちょっと狭いな
The flight is almost over, yes. We're approaching our full stop landing, currently 40 nautical miles away. Should be there in approximately 10 minutes. Slave, did your first flight here in a 172?
Yeah, as I said, I had my first cross-country flight solo.
いやー今日も楽しかったですな飛行機いっぱい見れて
I have one picture of it, which isn't that impressive.
これもホンダジェットだな
By the way, I just want to point this out for anyone who is a flight sim fan, and you've done some, lots of
艶
simulated
消しの
flying.
黒
If you want to get your feet wet and do the real thing, you don't need to enroll in flying school. You don't need to do a full-on lesson. Almost every single flying school in the world offers what they call a
黄
discovery
金になん
flight,
かハゲ
and it's
10
usually
円
at
ハゲみ
a
たいな
reduced
とこ
rate.
が本当
And
に
so just call up your local flying school and say you want to do a discovery
10
flight.
円
You
10円
don't
ハ
need
ゲ
a
と
medical. You don't need a student pilot permit. You don't need to have attended ground school
Nothing.
classes.
Oh.
Nothing.
You can just
ちょうど
sit there.
10円
You
ハ
can
ゲ
just
に
book it,
収まりましたよ
and the instructor pilot will do the takeoff and the landing. But once you get up to kind of altitude, they will give you control of the aircraft and allow you to do some turns.
あとはもう
some
着
climbs,
陸
some
続々
descents.
着陸
Just
して
kind of
くる
basic
飛行
stuff,
機に
but
入れ
you
る
will
わけです
actually
な
get to fly and control the
パー
aircraft
キン
for
グブレー
real.
キオン
And it's usually at a relatively affordable price point. So if you want to get your toes wet and try some real life flying, that's the way to do it. And like I said, almost every flying school in the world offers this.
続々とインシデント発生の巻。
Don't ask how I know.
I'm guessing on a very short leash, though.
Yeah, but it was my very first lesson. And he said, well, yeah.
あれなんであれ F14D って書いてあるのに見えるんだろう。
Oh, you landed it. Oh, okay.
So my very first flight as a student pilot, I did the landing. However, no, I don't think it really counts because I was already a licensed glider pilot at that point.
Right, yeah.
So, you know, it's 90% the same, just a little bit more power.
Yeah.
Yeah. And flaps, of course, they don't have flaps in the glider, spoilers instead.
A little easier energy management.
Yeah.
This is a pretty nice shot.
The Wangsta asked, does the flight school at West Houston Airport does that? And I'm not familiar, I don't know for sure, but I would say almost certainly yes. So just look them up online, give them a call or email them if they have a contact information, and just say you want to do a discovery flight. Use that exact phrase, discovery flight. They'll know what you're talking about, and I will say almost certainly they will offer that.
And if they don't know what you're talking about, find another flight school.
Yeah. All right, currently at 200 knots indicated airspeed, 109 knots ground speeds. ETE is 8 minutes.
はい、じゃあエンジン落とす、火を落としていきます。はい、エンジンカットオフ。ランディングライトオフ。キャノピーオープン。エンジンコントロールオフ。
There's a cloverleaf interchange.
ジェネレーターオフ。
Yes, those are very, very common words.
Speaking of like city skylines and urban design, notification.
カバーオン。今まだパイロットは乗っちょります。
Actually, one of the most inefficient designs in highway design. They use up a lot of space.
続々降りてくるかと思えばなかなか降りてきませんね。
Especially the whole looping back seems unnecessary, right?
降りてきてるんだけど見えてないだけなのかな。周りにも飛行機がいっぱいいすぎてというほどいっぱいいるようには見えないけれども。
Oh, just had to sneeze. I think I was able to mute my mic in time.
Bless you.
I had one of those things where I could sense that I was going to
もうちょっ
sneeze
と
for
飛
like
行
10
機から降
seconds,
りて
but
芝生に寝転びよう寝転ぼうか
then
な。
when that happens, and then it finally did. I also had a VIC-20. That was the first home PC that my family had when I was a kid. We had a VIC-20, and then we had a Commodore 64, and then we had a Windows 3.1/DOS 6.0 PC. Criminal Pilot says Calgary's Diverging Diamond Interchange that they are so proud to build. Yeah, that was about 5 or 6 years ago. They opened that, and there were a lot of public information service brochures and announcements that went out to explain how to actually navigate the Diverging Diamond Interchange. By the way, I'm somewhat.
おお、大きいのが降りてきた。C17。おお、すげえ勢いだ。すげえでかいスポイラーでしたね。スポイラーでしたね。すげえかっこええ。
Lengthy communications public information campaign to explain to people how to actually use the Diverging Diamond Interchange. I believe I have the airport in sight.
Not sure.
No.
エアポートインサイトって言ってたから、もうすぐ降りてみえるかな、隊長が。
That's definitely a runway in front of me, but it's not the one we're going to.
I think that's the military one. I forget what it's called, but there's a lot of military airports here.
エアバス310ってあれか。
Dalen, yes indeed, yes.
If you want to see a really cool highway interchange, look for it's called a turbine or a turbina. In fact, I'm going to pull up a photo of that. It looks awesome.
ジョン・ジェット。スーパーホーネット TBM930 降りてきましたね。なかなか特等席ですな。
This is the improved Clover.
Well, I don't know if it's improved. It seems like it uses the same amount of space as an overlay would.
Yeah. More expensive, that's for sure.
おー、でっかいの来た。C17。重っ。アイアバス310のランディング。
Here's another picture of a different turbine interchange.
Honda Jet もランディング。あれでもなんかあれホンダジェットに見えないから持ってないリバリ使ってんのかな。もうそろそろあれで見える限界に達したかもですね。C 社プロフライル。クーがランディング。TBM930 ランド。
Going slightly to the right.
また TBM930 ランド。英語。ああ、200ノット出ないと思うけど、どうやってるんだろう。
So we do this every Friday, same time, same place, but different region, different part of the world. We always explore somewhere new in the sim. Today we happen to be in the Netherlands, which is Peter's home country, for the anniversary of the founding of KLM, Royal Dutch Airlines, 104 years ago tomorrow. World's oldest continuously operated airline. Next week, we're going to be in Salem, Massachusetts, for the anniversary, one for Halloween, spooky October themed,
Halloween,
but also the anniversary of the end of the Salem witch trials. Took place this year back in the 1650 something. Next week. So tune in for that. The United States, I want to say for the first time since we did our Oshkosh stream back in July. It's been a couple months since we've flown in the USA. All right, 4 miles out. I should be able to see the airfield now, but I do not.
It's pretty small. It is paved though. So. It's pretty small.
I'm going to disable my autopilot and begin my descent.
Turning around shortly. I have the airport. I could turn to final and disable autopilot. You're down.
Okay, I can see the runway now. Joining left downwind. All right, turning left base.
人が乗ってる。ほら乗ってるか。もう私は降りちゃいましたけどね。優雅に朝のコーヒーを飲んでおりますが。優雅に朝のコーヒーを飲んでいます。優雅に朝のコーヒーを飲んでいます。
Approach speed? I think I botched this already. Coming in too fast. Maybe I can. I might be able to slow down enough. 85 knot approach. I'm too high.
If you do a go around, you can switch to my screen.
I don't have your stream coming through at the moment, unfortunately.
What? What do you mean?
All right, 95 knot approach. Not bad. 95 knot approach. I gotta do a full stop though. Oop. Oh, I'm floating. Oh, bad landing. 2 out of 10. Smooth touchdown right on the center line, but I floated way too long. That was really bad.
I will add that X Legend nailed the landing in Rockstar, so there's absolutely no excuses.
Still no stream, NCD?
合体
No, still nothing.
That's too bad because I actually landed on the center line.
I've got you frozen looking at an airport and a highway interchange. Looks like.
Oh, that is separate. Oh, that's like half an hour ago.
Yeah.
Connecting. Yeah.
I don't know why. I haven't changed anything on my side. There was no update that I installed or anything like that. The last couple of weeks, it's.
Should I try again? I restarted the stream.
Oh yeah, it is coming through now. You restarted.
So yeah. Oh well. I mean, I did end up being successful at landing it.
おコックピットだけ飛行機。おすげえ、これは珍しいんじゃない ?DC3 の KLM。うわ、古草。ひでえ草だ。古っデザインが。古っうひょー。
Hope everyone had a good time. Everyone, thank
KLM ロイヤルダッチエアラインズ。やっぱ歴史がありますな KLM 上にクラウンがついてるし TC3 これもでも見れてよかった
We wanted to add a few more voices onto our panel, so everyone thank Papa for joining us.
Thank you, Papa.
And on that note, we'll turn it over to Papa. Any final words from you before we sign off?
I wish everyone a good weekend. The start of the weekend. Hopefully people are off work and school and university and can just calm down, relax.
We've got Simtom and Mort are talking smack about you in the chat. Simtom says poo, and Mort says Papa sucks.
Yeah.
As expected.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? I'm going to give Peter the last word today since this is home country. So I'll go next. So again, hope everyone had a great time on Flying Friday in the Netherlands, and join us again, same time, same place next week for Community Flying Friday in Salem, Massachusetts. Talk about the history of the Salem witch trials as our October Halloween themed flight. So that's coming up next week. Watch all the usual places for details. And Peter, you get the last word today since we're in your home country.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining me on the journey, and I hope you had a great time and actually learned something today. Yeah, looking forward to next week. Learn something.
All right. And on that note, we're going to sign off here. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Fijne avond.
ありがとうございました。お疲れ様でした。イエーイということで、本日オランダの、機構のマイクロソフトフライトシミュレーターの公式集会、オランダ、終了しました。お疲れ様でした。今日も超楽しかったっすよ。じゃあ、お疲れ様でした。